This video is brought to you by Iona, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Iona is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me behind the Rivian Factory in Normal, Illinois at their delivery center for a surprise delivery of a new car. We are taking delivery, and by we, I mean me, I'm the only one here right now, of our new Rivian R1S. Yes, we were just here a few months ago getting an R1S, but I have a really good reason as to why we're getting this new R1S, and I can't wait to show it to you. So many of you guys, I think, can imagine the spec that I've gone for and why I've kind of done it the way I've done it, but you would be wrong. No one is expecting this spec that I've ordered here for our new out-of-spec R1S and what we're going to be doing with it. And a lot of this is in huge part to our viewers who have purchased Rivians with our referral code. That is why I am here. We are taking delivery of our new Rivian R1S. Let's do it. All right, guys, you have joined me coming into this room many times now. This is the third delivery in this exact room of our new Rivians. First, it was back in 2022 when I got my R1T. Then it was just a few months ago where we got Scott her 2025 R1S dual motor max pack. And now I'm able to reveal to you our new 2026 Rivian R1S right over here. Yes, you might be surprised. Why did I go for a silver on black with base wheels R1S, black interior? That's very un-Kyle, isn't it? Guess what, guys? This is the cheapest R1S that you can actually buy straight from the factory. And the thing that I'm so excited about for this car is the LFP battery pack. This is the standard battery. I have been preaching for so long that the Rivian options list gets so expensive so fast. We all know the new quad motor, insanely fast acceleration, an amazing status symbol, still something I could see coming to a YouTube channel near you at some point. However, if it was for my own personal vehicle, I would always go R1T over R1S. We actually asked you guys on social media, do you want to see more R1S content or R1T content? And it was overwhelmingly in support of the three-row electric SUV, the R1S. And because we are putting so many referral points, not enough to cover the whole car, that would be really cool, but we put so many referral points to this Rivian, we're able to actually purchase this one instead of leasing it. And I thought we would do something really cool and go for a base model. This is what we talk about, and I really think it'll be interesting to see how the base Rivian does in all of our testing, from charging with the new NACS port, to range, to road trip ability. I've been preaching about this standard range LFP battery pack so much, I thought, you know what? We've got to get one. Rivian has quad motor test trucks. A lot of my friends own tri and quad motor vehicles. We, of course, own a dual motor performance max pack, Scott's Rivian. And no one that I know has LFP Rivians. They kind of seem to be a little bit rarer than you would imagine. And I was like, let's just get this thing. I keep talking about it. And let's go cheapest options. That means standard paint color, standard interior, standard sound system. Let's go base, base, base. And that's what we've done here. So the plan is to use this over the next few months. I think Timon or Alyssa, they're planning on driving this vehicle quite a bit. I don't think this is a vehicle we're going to keep for years and years, but I do think we're going to have it for the next 6 months, 1 year to use for content. Maybe then we'll trade it towards a quad motor or something else that you guys find interesting at the time. Let me show you around it. Really nice metallic flake. This is the only standard no color or no upcharge paint color. And you know what? I think it looks great. I really love it. The other thing, before we get into the interior, are these wheels. I have loved these wheels, not necessarily from a design perspective, but from a tire package. This is a 34-inch all-season tire. It's a Goodyear Wrangler Territory AT tire. So it's actually a pretty aggressive tire, and this is the only no-charge standard wheel and tire package on the Rivian R1S, and it looks incredible. I mean, you could definitely get the aero wheels like Scott has with more range, or the sport wheels that are on this tri-motor out here. I'll zoom in around the tree and show you that. You could certainly get those for more style, but I really like these standard wheels and think they look absolutely awesome, and very excited about that all-season tire that's on there. That'll be great for when we have this at the office in Colorado or North Carolina. It'll just kind of work everywhere for us, and a really aggressive tread pattern. I think my whole goal with getting this vehicle here is I wanted something that's going to retain its value in the secondary market. Again, it's a vehicle we're going to have for a while, and you know what, with us, we might just end up keeping it. So that is not the plan, is to buy it and flip it and sell it or anything like that. We might end up keeping this one, but I thought in the secondary market, options don't really help that much when you go to sell it or move it along. So let's get a no option R1S, and R1Ss should hold value a little bit better than the T, even though I like the T a little bit more. You can see here we're pretty much at 100% state of charge, indicating 260 miles of range or so. That's is right on par with the EPA rating. And here it is. Let's take a look at some of the stats. We have 36 miles on this trip. It is a little bit toasty in here, and I'll also walk through some of the adapters we get because it's different than the previous Rivians we've taken delivery of, since this is a NACS-equipped J3400 native port vehicle. So we have 36 miles on the odometer, R1S dual standard adventure package, black mountain interior, dark ash wood. It has the LA silver paint. Battery is the standard pack that's around 100 kilowatt hours, still very juicy for a standard pack, and it has the 20-inch all-season tires. Guys, honestly, the interior quality, the materials, they look no different to most other Rivians unless you go for the Ascend interior, and even then, I actually prefer the standard interior. So I have been talking up this spec of vehicle, this configuration for so long. I'm so thrilled that we have one to make a bunch of videos with for you guys. Still has the full glass roof, dog mode, tons of capability. It's 7,700 pounds of towing capability as well, so I can tow my DC fast charging trailer all around with this vehicle, which will be great to have at the out of spec track. We still have, again, very sizable underfloor storage. They do make a spare tire kit that goes in there. Perhaps we'll add that as an accessory. We've got a power port back here. I mean, it really does come very nicely equipped, and I'll do a whole video on, basically my thoughts comparing this to Scott's dual motor Rivian, which was $30,000 more than this car. Her car was $105,000 for her dual motor performance trim. This uses the same motors, a battery pack that I can full charge to 100% every day with the LFP pack rather than 70% recommended in her Rivian, which means I have essentially the same daily range as Scott has, except I've saved myself $30,000. Now in her case, we leased it, we applied a ton of referral credits, same here, we've applied a ton of referral credits to this vehicle, and so I, again, can't say thank you enough to you guys for buying Rivians and using our codes. It really, the goal is to always make content with those referral points, and that's how we've ended up here with this R1S. So let's talk adapter really quick before we get into the software and set everything up. So we have a J1772 adapter. I can actually show you what that looks like. It's Electron J1772 to NACS adapter. No CCS adapter included upon delivery. I should have probably brought one along. I honestly forgot that it had a NACS port, but I guess we can use superchargers on the way back. Very similar to Tesla. This is, the Rivian Factory J1772 adapter. That's what's in that box. You can actually even put it in the port here, and then this will close, so you can leave the J plug right in there in the port, top tip. And so that's pretty cool. With all that said, I've got a little bit of paperwork to fill out. We've got to officially make it ours. I've already wired the money for this as well, because again, while we did have a ton of referrals, it didn't cover everything, so we had to pay, on top. And so did all that, and we'll be out of here in a second. We'll get this thing outside. But again, for standard equipment, some of you may remember I made a video recently about the quad motor, and I think a lot of you took it as like the quad motor's not that great. Well, that's not the case. The new quad motor Rivian is incredible. It's awesome to have 1,000 horsepower plus 7-passenger vehicle or R1T pickup truck. I absolutely love it. The problem with the Rivian tri-motor and quad motor and even dual motor with the large battery and performance trims is this car right here. The standard Rivian has so much value for money, so much standard equipment, so much great styling, so much stuff thrown into it that it makes it pretty hard to justify spending more money for high trim. At least that's my theory. And over the next few months, we're going to quantify exactly what the standard car has. So let me finish up some paperwork. We'll get the software set up. We'll get it added to my Rivian account, and that will be a quick and fun delivery of the new out of spec R1S. I just signed all the paperwork for this car. Still some wet ink signatures required. This is actually going into North Carolina, so you'll see a North Carolina plate on this thing. Pulling it out right now, the first time we're seeing our new Rivian underway. And you know what? I think it looks cool. Yes, I'll probably put a set of Martian wheels on here. Yes, we might wrap it or do something fun with the paint, but honestly, for a standard spec, this thing looks just awesome. So they're going to drive me up to the front of the factory. We're going to go for a ride up there, and then I'll go through, just make sure all of my settings are set, because of course it's already tied to my Rivian account, so it knows everything how I like it in there. And then we will, just maybe take it to the typical Starbucks location that I have gone to the last couple times after a Rivian delivery. Stick with tradition. And we've just had so much great luck and fun with our current Rivians. We've got to do it again. Big shout out to the Normal, Illinois factory delivery team. I always recommend, if you're buying a Rivian, pick it up at the factory. It's such a cool experience. They'll take you on a factory tour. I did not need that. I literally just landed only about 35 minutes ago, and here I am pulling away from the factory in the new R1S. I've been in the factory a few times. We didn't need to shoot any more content. It was fly in, pick up the car, and then on our out of spec motoring channel, you'll see my first road trip in our new R1S LFP. I am so excited. I think this is going to be so much more useful content than if we got a quad motor. But of course, I know some of you will be disappointed from a performance side. Don't worry, I will still make all the videos needed with the new crazy 1,000+ horsepower quad motor. Let's jump in and go to the front of the building. And I just got dropped off here in the front of the Normal, Illinois Rivian Factory with our new R1S. Guys, it's really nice. I think what's so cool, I'm going to show you the window sticker on this car, but it's under $80,000. Now, if we had got an R1T, which is what I was originally leaning towards doing, I really wanted a base R1T to kind of keep at the track as a support vehicle. I thought it'd be awesome, tow stuff around, do whatever. However, if we had got an R1T, the one thing is it's $5,000 cheaper, but the tow rating on the LFP R1T is actually the same as this, 7,700 pounds. If the base R1T could tow 11,000 pounds, like the big battery versions, I would have got that and just kept it at the track and made that our little pickup truck support vehicle. Unfortunately, some of the trailers that we tow are between 10 and 11,000 pounds, so I'll be using my Gen 1 R1T for most of those duties, and I love that truck. I always say it's the best thing I spent money on. Still to this day, it absolutely is. That thing is so cool. And what's funny is this actually cost the identical amount of money as my first Rivian R1T, which was a quad motor that came with every option, fully loaded launch edition. That's now the standard entry point for the SUV. So Rivian prices have gone up, but I actually think this is still a pretty damn good deal considering all you get baked in at standard. We'll see how I feel after the road trip. Let me show you the window sticker. We'll go through some of the software. I got to take some photos and then we're good to rock and roll. And here it is, guys, the R1S LFP. What are we going to call this thing? It's got to be something. It's not a cheap car, but it is the cheapest Rivian. Technically, the R1T is $5,000 less than the S, but I don't know. I feel like that's how I would have gone for me, but everyone else on the team, even my dad, they're all like, you know what? Get the R1S. Oh no. Where is this going? All right, here we go. Here's the reveal. The car spec, price, and everything. First of all, it comes with regenerative braking system. Hell yeah. Just to prove it to you, no options. We got R1S dual standard Everything else is a no charge option, but it comes with quite a bit, and it's $76,990. I had to pay $1,895 for them to drive this car out of the back of the factory and into the delivery bay. That was $1,895 for the delivery fee, destination fee. That should not be a thing, I think. We said the same thing about when we picked up Scott's R1S. 258 miles of EPA rated range, and there we go. Dealer Rivian Factory. Very cool, very excited to have this thing, and just got some photos for the thumbnail up front in front of the Rivian Factory. We've done this now our third time. It still feels like a pinch me moment. It's so exciting. It's a little bit of bummer that no one's here to celebrate with me, because getting a new car doesn't happen every day, although it does happen maybe every few days if you factor in my cheap EV purchases that are like a couple grand here or there. I like these weird cheap electric cars. You don't take delivery of a big boy like this every day, so I am so excited, and again, absolutely thrilled that the Rivian Referral program was so good for so long. It allows us to get this, to make content for you guys, and I promised everyone with every referral that went to us, we were going to do something to turn it into fun content and informative content. And like I keep saying, I think it's way more informative and way more useful to way more people if we review the base one versus the quad motor. Maybe after this we'll trade it in for a quad motor. I could see that happening. We'll have to see. Oh, check this out. They got a little electric robot lawnmower. Sick. Doing a good job, dude. All right, time to jump in our new car, head to the typical Starbucks that we always go to. And man, let me show you guys. Oh, I didn't even show you anything around this. Let me show you the charge port. We've got our typical front trunk. I asked them not to install the front license plate. You don't actually need to in North Carolina. We've got child seat anchors, really nice. All of this is pretty much standard. First aid kit, tire pressure filler. Very, very nice, big front trunk. We've got the new 2026 NACS port, which I'm really excited to try out, see how the thermals are. It's my first non-Tesla that I have owned with a J3400 or NACS charging port on there. I'm noticing no recovery hooks off the front. That's interesting. So that's something that this one doesn't have. But I love the wheel and tire pack. I really think this thing looks great. I'm actually okay with it not even having the dark out package. I think it looks totally fine. This whole silver and black theme, really a nice looking vehicle for sure. I've already got my app set up. I've got my phone as a key set up. I'm going to get rid of this floor mat situation. Put that over there. We've got our adapter. We've got mics. We've got the 2 Rivian backup key cards for valet and other purposes. You can see our stats here, batteries at 76. I've reset our trip computer. And let me tell you about one more thing that I've done before we go. I actually want to always change this to show both miles and percent. Let me tell you about one more thing that I've done. My buddy Chad has created a website called Rivian Roamer. Now, he did not ask me to plug this in the video whatsoever, but I think it's an amazing service and it can really turn into something cool. First of all, Rivian Roamer, I think, is the best way to search for a new Rivian online. When I was going through different specs and configurations and options, I used Rivian Roamer to find this very car available on the website. Also, now that it's in my account, it will automatically start logging because I have it set up on this way. It will log all of my drives, all of my trips, all of my charging sessions, all of my charging curves, and it just is this amazing tracking service that everyone should have on their Rivian. It makes sure that when you do something interesting, when you want to look at the data from all of your drives over the history of the vehicle, I think it's great to start logging from day one on Rivian Roamer. So shout out to Chad for building a great service there. He's a great dude, doing a great service for the Rivian community, and definitely reach out to him. I'll leave a link below so that you can sign up with your Rivian. That's not a paid sponsorship. No one asked me to say that. I just think it's such a cool service. So I wanted to throw that out there, and I'm logging everything on this truck, of course, from day one. Well, with all of that said, I kept it in dog mode so that it stayed nice and cool in here, which it is feeling great. We are going to use the new Google Maps software that's in here and find a Starbucks. In the next video on the Out of Spec Motoring channel, we'll see actually how it does route planning with the native NACS port, which I think will be really interesting. So we've got, let's see, Starbucks, 4 miles, 5 miles,
Let's see, is it this one that we normally go to? Let's take a look, because it's got photos built in now. How cool is this? I don't know why I have to do this for tradition's sake, but I definitely like it. I heard Rivian Motorway was closed. There's a lot of R2 expansion happening around here. That whole building wasn't there nearly that long ago. All of the trucks here building this whole side over here as well. So much excitement and hustle and bustle happening in Normal, Bloomington right now. And I actually did a video, I'll leave it linked in the description, with the mayor of Normal, Illinois, Mayor Chris Coos. What a cool guy he was. I don't know if this is the exact Starbucks we always go to. I don't think it is. I'll find it and then we'll figure it out and go there. Anyway, Chris Coos, Mayor Chris Coos, awesome dude. Talked all about the early days of how he got Rivian here to take over the Mitsubishi plant, and it's a really, really great story. It's actually time to drive our Rivian for the first time. I have no fancy GoPros set up right now, but I figured we'll take a look at the modes we have. I know we don't have sport mode or even off-road modes in this one. It is dual motor. It should be pretty good. We have an all-terrain. I actually prefer to drive the dual motors typically in snow mode for the moment, because that's where you don't get the annoying clutch connect and disconnect, but I'm curious to see how it feels. Typically when I drive Rivians, I drive them in standard ride height, soft regen, ride feel and soft, stability on. Why do we not have high regen? Maybe LFPs don't get regen in high? I didn't know that. These are all the things we're going to figure out with this as time goes on. Yeah, I'm in all-purpose and no high regen, just standard regen. That's weird. Man, so much to figure out with this trim. I'm already thinking this was the right decision. I think it's so cool to go base models only. Great group on Facebook, by the way. And there's a new quad motor sitting up front right there. Looks sick. Nice. Oh, no, it's not. It's just a dual motor. What am I thinking? I just saw Storm Blue. There was a quad motor parked over there, and it's not that one. We're leaving the factory now. Time to head out of here. We've got ourselves an all-purpose mode, and we're going to enjoy it. What I'm really curious about is the performance. Is it going to feel slow? I don't know what to think. I will give you an update here in a minute where we can try the acceleration. Right now with factory shift times, there's a lot of people around here. We're not going to rip it in the area at the moment. We will definitely get to it later on. But I just can't believe that we're taking delivery. And by we, I mean you, the viewer, and me. We're taking delivery of a new R1S. Holy smokes. This is actually a really cool thing, because both my Rivian and Scott's Rivian are in Colorado, and I'm bringing this one to North Carolina. And because I've been going back and forth, it's been a little bit sad to not have a Rivian to drive all the time. So I'm really, really looking forward to having this one. Oh, it feels nice and smooth. Is the alignment dialed in? That's always the thing with Rivians. They kind of come out of the alignment, or at least Scott's vehicle did. And no, this one feels pretty good. I'm just going to juice it a little bit. We'll slow down here and just roll into it. Oh my gosh, it's quick. I've never driven one of these. That had way more punch than I was expecting. Over 500 horsepower in this thing. Damn, I am so happy. This is great. All right. See you guys in a minute. Well, it wouldn't be a new Rivian without a new rattle. And yep, right here in the door panel somewhere, there's a rattle. Very minor, very minor. And I got to give Rivian just a little crap, because that's kind of what I always do. And not intentionally, I just want them to really dial it in. There's something about this 2026 model year, and maybe with some time I'll be able to put my finger on it, that just feels a little bit better dialed in, especially than Scott's Rivian. Scott's Rivian felt good, but we had a couple rattles and stuff. This honestly feels pretty solid. And for some reason, I get the impression that the wheel comes out even farther than before. That's something with, that could just be placebo, but I was just driving Scott's Rivian this morning. I took it to the airport, her R1S, so that I had, our R1S to our other R1S back-to-back experience. So far, for the $30,000 price delta, no difference in driving experience. This drives awesome. Really impressed with the standard one here, and I can't wait to go on a trip with it. So I am nervous to try the sound system, because the base sound system probably isn't going to be that good. We've given Rivian a hard time about their sound system, their premium sound systems in their vehicles. And I would actually say that the R1S premium sound system has gotten a lot better through software updates. They've really got that system to a level of acceptability that I think is okay. We're not talking insane, amazing, immersive listening experience like a Bowers and Wilkins can provide, or a Bang & Olufsen in our e-tron or something like that. But acceptable. In the R1Ts that I've driven, the trucks, the sound system's terrible still. They have not dialed that one in, at least in the last few weeks from when I had to go in it. So I'm really curious to see how the base no option sound system is in this vehicle. I'm not expecting much, but I am hoping it's at least livable. I'll let you know before we get over to Starbucks. So there's no sport mode in this, but I am going to launch it. I know the light screen. Left foot hard on the brake. Suspension's lowest. Let's go. Whoa! At like 40 miles an hour, it kicks in and gives it full beans. Honestly, this is fine. Rivians are very sensitive to suspension height for power output. So if you drop the suspension like I did there to low, which it can't go all the way down, one of the things you get with paying for higher spec vehicles is just more drive mode adjustments, more suspension height adjustments. This kind of locks it to low, standard, and high rather than highest and lowest being added. It's still boogies. Like here, 50 miles an hour, quick hit. Woo! I mean, it's not no quad motor, but oh my gosh. Most people do not need more acceleration than this, I'll tell you that much. We have made it to the typical out-of-spec delivery Starbucks, and this is the location we'll end this video before we start the road trip. Let's head over to a couple things to check out, because the main difference here is the battery pack. Now you can see it actually recommends charging to 100%. There's no warning around it. And you can see fully charging your battery helps performance without causing additional wear. It also gives you more accurate range estimates. Kind of untrue. It will give you more accurate range estimates. I've heard you really do want to full charge these once every 10 days or so for BMS calibration, but it's just, LFP is a hardier chemistry. It should last longer. Rivians actually have great degradation performance. However, a lot of times people think it's okay to charge them to 100% and leave them there. They still like for storage to be in that 30 to 50% range. You kind of treat them like the other batteries, but you do just full charge them to calibrate them once in a while. For the road trip, at least, we'll leave it on 100. I have manual preconditioning in the updates. We have new charging curve graphs. Looks like, it hasn't, nothing's really been saved in here. Schedule, we have our energy monitor while driving. That's while parked, that's while driving. 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour. I juiced it a couple times, but there we go. Love all the new energy apps in here. Rivian just does such a good job with software overall. I'm really looking forward to see how the route planning works on 2026. So I'm going to navigate to our new location, North Carolina. Back to where Out of Spec started, actually. Not to say we're leaving Colorado. If you're just tuning in, we're keeping Colorado. We have a bunch of stuff out there, a bunch of testing, but North Carolina is also the new home. And that's where this Rivian will live. You can see it's planned out. Our stops did a really nice job. It now shows SOC on arrival. And wow, 170 miles on the first leg. We'll get there at 8%. Sounds good. You can see here, Tesla, then we're there. There's very few charging networks other than Tesla and Iona that are offering NACS ports in mass. So I can go to an Iona station or whatever. I'm going to set my arrival range to a typical out-of-spec approved 2%. What do you guys think? Nah, 1%. Let's use this thing. The only thing I worry about is calibration with the LFP. Now, it was just full charge, but if you don't calibrate your LFP, I don't actually know what happens with Rivians, but with other brands, it can shut off at 5% or it can go 50 miles past zero. It says avoid sites that need an adapter. The answer is yes. I did not bring any CCS adapter with me, so we have to use native NACS chargers on the way. Preferred network would be Rivian's great, Tesla's good with me, Electrify America's fine with me as well, but I would prefer Rivian or Tesla. I would love to see Iona in here. I heard at some point Iona is getting added into the Rivian system because I really love using Iona stations. Not just because they're a sponsor. Yes, it's great to have them as a sponsor, but I love Iona stations. If you're asking why the screen is weird, I've still got the protective cover on here, but I'm not going to pull it off because we all know Alyssa is going to be dying to pull all the stickers off this thing. So I'm just going to leave it until we get back and she can screen protect it, which will be awesome. And wow, this thing really looks great. It drives awesome. It just gives me the sense of being slightly more dialed in than Scott's Rivian. By them having 36 miles on this, I would imagine they drove it around before delivery. They probably went through it. No indication of them dialing in anything. I'm really excited to see Colton's build quality analysis, but I would say everything looks tight, looks great.
I'm not really one to care too much about that stuff, but Colton does a great job. But my initial look at this is, yeah, everything is dialed in. All the ports, all the lights, all the body gaps are even. The hood sits perfectly. I really think they did a nice job dialing in this R1S. And I am just so thrilled to be able to cover the LFP battery pack. Honestly, I think we're going to find out. This is my prediction. It's all the Rivian you need. You don't need to go crazy with the options. This is what, $60,000, $70,000 less than a quad motor, and it's in day-to-day driving going to make no difference to me whatsoever. So again, shout out to you guys for using our referral codes, and shout out to Rivian for being so awesome. They were great with delivery. Again, I landed about an hour ago, hour and 15 minutes ago, right now, just absolutely, oh no, 2 hours ago. I'm all confused on time, but I just landed. We picked it up. We were in and out in no time, and Rivian just absolutely hooks it up every time. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to you guys for watching. Thank you very much. And I've got one hell of a fun road trip ahead as we use the new native NAC Sport in the Rivian on a road trip. Let's do it. Oh, I didn't try the sound system. Let me try that right now. Then I can end the video. The initial impression of the sound system isn't bad. I really was noticing a lack of center channel where like a voice where I'd prefer to have, you know, a nice voice up front, and it felt a little mushy there. Like not crazy high quality. Oh my gosh, that's actually totally listenable. I'll have a better impression after the road trip, get the speakers broken in, all that stuff. But the initial impression is a lot more bass than I was expecting. Comes much more from the doors than what a subwoofer would sound like. But honestly, wow, not as bad as I was expecting it to be. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. As always, we have so many videos to make with this R1S. Let us know what you want us to do with it. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I just really wanted to turn, you know, what was left of our referral points after Scott's R1S into a vehicle, because I just got a feeling that maybe they were going to pull the referral program away, and you know, they already limited the points that you can earn, and Rivian's in their right to do whatever they want to do, which is fine. We were so lucky that you guys used our code, and we were in such a great position in order to get this car. So no complaints from my side. I just didn't want them to go like, oh, you can no longer apply referral points to cars and you've got to get accessories. So I just wanted to get something tangible, get the money out of the ether, put it into a real vehicle, and now we can actually make some content, and we've got a real vehicle here that we can do some fun stuff with. So again, thanks for watching. See you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.